Hi guys, it's science time. Today is Monday, May 11th, 2020, and today we're going to think about and learn about living and non-living things and how they depend on each other. Last week, we used this really big word called interdependency, remember? And that word means that how living and non-living things depend on each other to survive. You did a tree to show how you found something in nature and you started at the top and you talked about something that depends on that. Remember, I chose a flower and then I said that bees depend on flowers. And then I said that animals depend on bees. I even went further down and I said how humans depend on the animals and how we also depend on the bees. So we're going to talk a little bit differently about how things depend on each other, kind of around the same topic. We're going to start off first by reading this book called Living Things by Patricia Armentrout. So let's get started. Actually, let's do this first, like we always do. Let's go ahead and read our job. Ready? I will know how living and non-living things depend on each other. Let's get started. Okay, Living Things by Patricia Armentrout. Living or non-living? People, plants, and animals are all living things. All living things need food, water, and air to live. We know that. We've talked about that in science before, haven't we? Non-living things do not need food, water, or air. Does a car, this plastic, rubber froggy, he doesn't need, or even this cup, right? Those items don't need food, water, or air to survive. They're not living. Okay, so it says, which of the following are living? Which are non-living? So, is the bird living? Do you think he needs food, air, and water? Yeah, so he would come here. What about these cans? These looks like there's some type of Coke, like soda cans. Non-living, you're right. What about this? Non-living. Living, that's a flower, right? Without any water or the sun or air, it would not be able to survive. So that is a living thing. So when we are looking at an object and we're trying to decide if it's living or non-living, we need to ask ourselves some questions. And those questions are, does it need water? Does it need air? Does it need the sun? If we can say yes to those things, then we can say, yes, it is a living object. What about these rocks? Non-living, right? And what about this little girl? Right, she's living. That will go under here. All right, let's continue. Animal life. An animal is any living thing that can breathe and move around. Humans, butterflies, and snakes are all animals. We put animals in groups. So we are under mammals. Then we have insects, fish, birds, reptiles, and amphibians. Did you know that we were considered to be grouped under animals? Yeah, we are. It's any living thing. Remember, any living thing that can breathe and move around. Can you and I breathe and move around? We sure can, can't we? All animals need food and water. Animals find food and water in their habitats. Now, we talked about habitats last week, didn't we? We talked about a place where they find to live, a place where they take for protection, and we learned about different types of habitats. In the video, kind of showed some different types of habitats. Look at this polar bear right here. His habitat is out in, maybe this might be Antarctica, maybe somewhere really cold, and his habitat is around the water in the very, very cold habitat. And what do you think he might get from the water that he would need to survive? What would he find in here? Yes, he would find food. He would find fish. That's what he eats. Then we also have the habitat of the ocean or the sea. And you see these, this thing here is called a coral, and you may already know that. And you see these fish. This might be a place where this fish might swim into to get away from predators, to hide. Remember, a habitat is not only a place to live, but a place to where they're safe and they can be away and safe to get away from any outside dangers like predators or even like weather, harsh weather, like our homes are our habitats. And if it's raining or storming really bad, we go inside, don't we, so that we can be protected from the weather. Here's another example. Look at these camels. This is their habitat. And then look at this little monkey. The tree, he hangs out in the tree, doesn't he? This is a place where he might sleep. You think this is a place maybe he can get away from predators if there's predators on the ground that are trying to chase after him, right? Animals use their senses to live and to stay safe. So we all use our senses so that we can stay safe. Excuse me. Excuse me. So, for example, if we hear something outside that doesn't sound safe, we're not going to run outside, right? If we hear thunder and we're outside, we know we probably need to go inside because it's not safe to be outside if there's thunder and lightning. So we use our sense of hearing for that. What about our sense of smell? How might we use that to stay safe? Our sense of smell. So maybe, for example, if we're baking something in the kitchen and we smell something burning, we know, uh-oh, we need to go take care of that, don't we? What about our sense of hearing? We talked about that, but what about when we're in the classroom and if we hear the sirens go off? We hear that, right? We know that is that we need to get up and exit the building, you know, when we have those fire drills, right? So that's a way that we use our senses to live and to stay safe. And of course, we use our sense of sight to look at things. And when we're walking, just think about when we're just walking and we're walking and we're looking to make sure that we're walking through a clear path and that we don't run into anything, right? So, of course, our sense of touch also helps us. You don't want to touch this cacti, do you? It's got all these little pricklies on it, and that might hurt you, right? So we're going to stop here in the book. We're going to come back to this book maybe next week, but we're going to stop here and let's go back to our slide. And so I wanted to start with this book about living things. Now I'm going to move this out of the way, and here's our chart. Just to review what we talked about in the book. Living things eat, grow, reproduce. That means that they have babies and they breathe. So non-living things, they don't need to eat or grow or reproduce or breathe. These are some examples of some living things up here. So we see this boy and a flower. Here's a tree, a palm tree. Look at the ocean, the whale and the birds. The crab and the fish, they're all living things. They all need things to eat, grow, reproduce, and breathe. But what about down here? Does a shirt need to eat? Ever heard of a shirt eating, have you? What about pizza, or a kite, or pencil, or book? Those are examples of non-living things, right? Okay, now that we have an understanding of that, let's go to this next slide. And what we're going to do is we're going to sort these pictures. And I want you to think about when we're sorting them, do we need and depend on them to survive? Remember, when we depend on something that we really need. So we're going to put the things that we really need and depend on to survive under yes. And then we're going to put the things that we might want them, but we don't need them to survive. And we don't depend on them to survive, to live. Okay, so let's get started. Move some of these down over here, and then we'll take one by one. What about a bus? Do we need that? Maybe we don't have a car. Do we need that to get to, maybe we might need that to get to work, to school, to get from place to place. Do you think we need that? maybe we might be able to walk to places if they're close enough, but what if we have to go further away? So I'm going to say, yes, we do need that. Some of us that might not have a car, we need some form of transportation. So let's go ahead and put that under yes. We'll just stick it over here. What about this? Oh, you know, my favorite out of this would probably be the Skittles. Do we need these? We probably say, yes, Ms. Castillo, we need them, but do we really, really need them? If we didn't have them, would we still be okay? Would we still survive? Would we still be living and be okay? We would, wouldn't we? So I'm going to stick this over under no, right there, right there. Okay, what about water? Think about our book and our chart. Do we need water to survive? We sure do, don't we? We need water not just to drink, but we use water to do many things in our homes, to bake, to cook, to clean. So I would say yes to that, right? What about toys? They're great, but we don't need them. What about a family? Do we need a family? We do, don't we? We need family to keep us safe and to love on us, don't we? Very good. And a car. We need some form of transportation, right? So we're going to say yes to that. What about a house? We need some form of a habitat, a place to live and stay safe from the outside and to live and sleep in, right? We're going to put that here. A bicycle. It's great to have, but we don't need it, right? What about clothes? We're going to say yes. And last, food. Yes, we need those things, right? So we've sorted these things. These things, there's nothing wrong with these, but we're just talking about what do we need and depend on to survive. So we said some form of transportation, water, food, a shelter, some place to live, clothes, and of course our family. So now that we've kind of talked about what we need and depend on to survive, and we've talked about living and non-living things and what they need, let's move on to the next slide. All right, this is what I want you to do, guys. I want you to think about what you need. What do you depend on to have a good day? Okay, what do you need? Remember, need to survive to have a good day. Then once you think about those things, it doesn't have to be 5 things. It could be 3 things. At least give me 3 things, okay? And you're going to list them here. So I might say to have a good day, I need, remember we're going to also make sure that we are writing in complete sentences. Don't just say food. That's not a complete sentence, right? We need to make sure that we are always practicing writing in complete sentences because we need that. And we're getting ready to be 2nd graders, so we need to make sure when we get back to school, into this classroom, that we are ready and that we are writing the best that we can. So let's not just write single words. We want to write a complete word. So I would say, I need food to have a good day. Okay, we don't need food. If we're hungry, we can become grouchy. We don't have that much energy. We're tired. So that would be one thing that we could say that we need to have a good day, right? So you give me at least 3 things, okay? At least 3. I really want you to go for, try and get 5, but the very least 3 things that you need. And remember, let's write in complete sentences. Give me your best handwriting, capital letter, punctuation at the end. You guys know what you can do. I know what you can do. And we're getting closer to the end of the school year. Let's kind of push it up a little bit and let's get to writing some more. So please, complete sentences. Don't just list me words like food. I know you can do better. And let's show Mom and Dad what great writers you guys are. If you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out to me and I will be here. You guys have a great day. Bye.